Hello and welcome to Around the Championship Predictions from the Honest Football Podcast. I'm Craig Savage, and with me as always is Mr. Daniel Cody. Let's have a quick recap of what happened in midweek. We said that one away team would win it, and they did not win that one, but there was a few other away teams that won it. Obviously, good away wins for Hull, Middlesbrough, Huddersfield, and Rotherham. But points-wise, not great, I'll be honest. But my Birmingham Swansea result just enough to beat Daniel Cody by 3 points to 2. How rubbish. Sums up our week as Luton Town fans so far. First game up to the final round of the Championship before the World Cup break, while we drown our sorrows as Luton Town fans. First game up on Friday night is Birmingham versus Sunderland. Birmingham drew 2-2 with Swansea on Tuesday night. And Sunderland, they lost 1-0 to Cardiff on Saturday.
Yeah, a bit of a good late point for Birmingham in the end, to be fair, because it went as we expected. Swansea had a lot of the ball. Birmingham probably had the better chances towards the end as well, and deservedly got their point. Hogan and Deeney, two of the big men delivering up front for them. Sunderland, obviously it was disappointing last week against Cardiff, but they've been all right considering they just need to get to the World Cup, get Ellis Sims back to full fitness, get Ross Stewart back if they can, and they'll be absolutely fine as well. I could see this being a very, very low-scoring game. Birmingham will defend fit deep. Sunderland won't have room to counter in behind. Oh, it's on TV Friday night. They're always crap games as well. Don't want to start 0-0. Championship's favourite scoreline, 1-1.
I'm going to go 2-1 Birmingham. Last time they were on TV, they won 2-0 against QPR. So there you go. Yeah, it's a good run for Birmingham at the moment. It's a really good run. No, I don't think anyone would have predicted this run, but they're looking really solid. I know they conceded 2 against Swansea yesterday, but they're looking solid, getting over the line with points as well. So not too bad for them at the moment. Sunderland, yeah, another disappointing result at home. Lost 2-0 at home. Obviously, Burnley won, and now Cardiff. So staying alive is not that fortunate what we kind of expected, but they're still learning. I still got a couple of players out, but I think Tony Mowbray, he's happy with what he's doing so far. Going into the break, I think they'll be more than happy to get a few injuries back, and they said they can start pushing again. So, but I think Birmingham might just nick it, and this is probably the worst thing for Birmingham because they're going to have a month break now. But I'm going to go 2-1 to Birmingham. Right, next up, Bristol City versus Watford. Bristol City, they drew 1-0 with Middlesbrough on Saturday, and Watford beat Reading by 2-0.
Yeah, and I know they rotated in midweek, but Bristol City, awful result against Lincoln in the Carabao Cup as well. We've got to factor that in a little bit. That makes it in all competitions 5 without a win now, 3 of those defeats. Oh, it's a frustrating one for them at the moment because they were looking good early doors and the goals are starting to dry up. Not scored more than 1 in a game since the West Brom one in mid-October. And Watford, to be fair, they bounced back from that Coventry defeat. A good win against Reading, back into the top 6. Slaven Bilic, I mean, he talked about it in his interview, being in the mix come the World Cup, and they certainly are. I could see them nicking this on the break because Bristol City, we've talked about their defence countless times, and I can just see Watford carving them open on the counter. So I'm going to go for Watford to win. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet, but I'm going to go cautiously 2-1. If they score early, it could be more.
I'm going to go 3-0 to Watford. If it's not a dig at Bristol City, nothing like that, obviously.
He's just a Luton fan in a strop, people. Leave him alone.
No, it's one of those things with Bristol City. I think Watford will get ruthless. They can actually be really ruthless. If they do what they did against Luton and Stoke, they can easily carve this Bristol City defence up. Good recovery from the Coventry defeat, you said, 2-0. Kids a strong red inside at the moment. I can see them do it again, 3-0. Right, Cardiff versus Sheffield United. Cardiff, did they play on Tuesday? Yes, they did. They lost 3-2 to Hull, and Sheffield United lost 1-0 to Rotherham.
Yeah, it was a really weird midweek, as we talked about, and these 2 results were part of it. Sheffield United were, largely dominant on the stats against Rotherham, but defensive frailty showing again, and those 2 clean sheets, and then that brilliant performance against Burnley, so they're not beat a team that's set up defensively against you. It might be their Achilles heel yet. When they haven't got space in behind, they do seem to struggle a bit more at home. But there's a few teams like that. And Cardiff, much the same. Pick up another great 1-0 win at Sunderland and then fall to defeat against Hull. But again, they were 2-1 up. It's game management in that last 20 minutes. There's some funny bits on Hull we'll talk about later, but a really disappointing defeat for Cardiff. I don't know where to go with it. Cardiff's last 5 games have been loss, win, loss, win, loss. So based on your logic from earlier in the season, I should be going for a Cardiff win. And they're very capable of nicking a 1-0, but I just think Sheffield United will bounce back. They had 3 brilliant wins before the Rotherham game. They were still very decent against them. I'm going to go Sheffield United. Maybe a late winner, 1-0.
I'm going to go 2-0 Sheffield United. It's just so frustrating. That brilliant win. It's probably the best win so far this season, and they ruin it by not taking advantage of not a poor Rotherham side. I'm not going to say that, but so frustrating. You should really, if you're going to beat Burnley, get that lead back. Don't spoil it in the next game, and they really have, and it's opened it up back to Burnley. Cardiff, can they just hire someone now? It's another defeat for him. Mark Hudson, just hire someone. You've got 4 weeks now, guys. Come on, sort it out. No, not ideal, especially playing against a team that you are probably going to be challenging down there, losing 3-2. But Sheffield are far too strong for me. So 2-0 to the Blades. Right, Coventry versus QPR. Coventry beat Wigan by 2-0, and QPR lost 2-1 to Huddersfield.
Yeah, good win for Coventry. They were the only 2 shots on target in the match. Just a fun stat there. And again, we talked about it, Coventry, a lot last year, late goals. The second one coming in the 95th minute there. So good to see that they're finally starting to adopt last season's form in full. 3 wins in a row. Well, up into the top half now with games in hands. Is in their hands for a playoff spot as it stands. And QPR, just the 36 shots against Huddersfield without managing to get a draw. Went ahead in the second minute. The game management wasn't great, but it did get to the stage where they were basically shooting from anywhere because only 6 of those went on target. Albeit they should have still got a result, had bundles of the ball, but it's a worry for QPR at the moment. That's 4 without a win, and we've seen that from all of the top sides, maybe bar Burnley this year at some stage. So interested to see how they bounce back. See, everything's pointing to a Coventry win. But I think there's going to be a surprise here. I'm going to go for QPR to win by 2-1 against all logic. But Coventry doing brilliantly. Mark Robins, glad they stuck with him because that little talk about Robins out, the little bit at the start was absolutely scandalous.
Not as scandalous as QPR's 36 shots and not winning the game. Yeah, he hasn't gone well since Mick Bill decided to stay, and at least he's staying. I'm like, at the moment, at the time recording, he's in talks. Yeah, obviously not ideal for QPR. Losing to Huddersfield, that's very, very poor, but it hasn't got, their form has been awful. So, and once again, another team that needs this break just to start again, regroup. Coventry don't need this, to be honest. They might as well carry on playing because they've still got to play catch up. But no, very good result against Wigan. Home form's now back on form, but they're looking strong, looking very strong at the moment. So this doesn't surprise me that Coventry are going to be up there. It really doesn't. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Right, Huddersfield versus Swansea. Huddersfield beat QPR by 2-1, and Swansea drew 2-2 with Birmingham.
Yes, and we know exactly how this is going to pan out, don't we? Swansea are going to have bundles at the ball. Huddersfield are going to hit on the counter and from set pieces. And the only question is, are Swansea going to find that great defensive form they had a few weeks ago, or are they going to start continuing to concede to a game? Huddersfield, you've got to be fair, albeit QPR had 36 shots and it could have been very different. Neither of us saw that coming in a million years, and they needed it. They're now 4 points from safety with a game in hand, back within 2 of Wigan and West Brom. They had to start finding results, and that might just keep Fotheringham comfortable during to the World Cup break. I don't know what to go for this game. It's a complete wild card for me. I'm going to bank on after 4 without a win. I don't know why I'm doing it. Everyone's going to end their poor run this week. I think I've been scarred by midweek with the away teams. I'm going for Swansea to bounce back. 3-1. They're going to run riot. And now it's going to be all home wins this weekend.
I'm going to Swansea to win 2-0. Yeah, Swansea will bore Huddersfield to death. But to be fair, not a bad point at St Andrews. Disappointed they couldn't hang on. But Huddersfield, fantastic result. Them and Rotherham did the 2 best results from midweek. The goal that Huddersfield scored, okay, it was all right. I'm being a bit boring here, but obviously got lucky. But hey, it won the game. I couldn't care less. They couldn't care less. So great result. You need that. Rotherham really needed that. But 2-0 Swansea. Right, Hull versus Reading. Hull beat Cardiff by 3-2, and Reading lost 2-0 at Watford.
Yeah, and to be fair to Hull, I mentioned it earlier. There was a thing around the hour mark when they started making their subs Rossini. And I've got a few Hull fans on social media, and they were all talking about Regan Slater robbing a shirt and why the hell wasn't he taken off. Then he popped up with the 2 goals to turn the game around. So excellent stuff from him and Liam Rossini, who 4 points, brilliant start considering the 10 men in the first game as well. Reading are starting to drop. They need the break now. An aging squad that have been playing 3 games a week. They need a break. They need to reset. And they need a week off, a few of them. So couldn't come at a better time for them. But I'm going to back Hull for the new manager bounce to continue. With Hull and Rossini and Carrick at Middlesbrough, the new manager bounce is officially back. Let's hope that extends to Luton after the internationals. I'm going to go Hull to win, 2-1.
Yeah, great result for a senior on Tuesday night away at Cardiff, coming from behind. Reading, yeah, I totally agree. I think they do look tired. The form's just completely gone. Yeah, it's kind of expected, to be honest. I think there is just too many games. What do we want? 20. This is match day 21, and it's early November, so it's not ideal. Come on, but yeah, I said Reading need the break. I think 1-1 would probably be the right result for both sides. I mean, they'll take that, to be fair. So yeah, 1-1 for me. Right. Next up at Kenilworth Road, it's Luton Town. They're at home to Rotherham. Maybe managers Luton by the time this one come out, it probably will be managers, unless Nathan stays, but I highly doubt it. Luton lost 2-0 to Stoke, and Rotherham beat Sheffield United by a goal to nil.
Yeah, let's start with Rotherham so we don't completely ignore them. A brilliant win. Okay, they didn't have much of the ball, they didn't have much of the game, but 2 shots on target, took a goal. And to be fair, there's been a lot of other games recently where they've been on the wrong side of a 1-goal defeat. So to get them 3 points crucial, just gives them that little buffer to the relegation zone again. It means they can't be in it come the international break, which is great for them. And Luton, look, let's be fair, our predictions were basically redundant by Monday morning because they were never going to win that game after the events then. They didn't actually play that badly. I know people would have you believe that because of the result. 2 silly early goals to give away, but we're pretty much an even game after that, to be honest. It's hard to know, isn't it? We don't know who's going to be in charge. I would imagine if it's just one game before the international break, it will probably be either Harford or Cohen. Depends who Jones takes with him. I mean, if ever there's a chance for Rotherham to get a result at Luton, it was going to be this game. I thought they would probably be able to play for a draw before, but I do think they might be able to win it now. I'm going to stick with a draw, though. I'm going to go for the Championship's favourite scoreline. But, I mean, let's be honest. We have absolutely no clue what the situation's going to be come Saturday. Apart from the fact that Nathan Jones won't be there.
No. Well, let's get to... I'll start with Rotherham first as well. 1-0 away victory is the best victory in football. Excellent result, especially Sheffield United keeping the clean sheet there. Perfect. Well done them. Worked their socks off. And any doubts on this new Matt Taylor, don't write him off so early. Luton, yeah, the game was over on Monday. Luton lost on Monday. Didn't matter. Okay.
Couldn't believe he was in charge. Couldn't believe it.
No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but I couldn't believe it.
It doesn't matter. I'm fine with him taking charge. But the game was over. I think if Cohen was in charge, the game was over. We'd already lost the game, and it just happened to be Stoke, and Stoke took full advantage, and fair play to them. But yeah, I said performance was okay. This is a tough one. I would have gone 1-1. I'm gonna go 1-0 Rotherham. I did have 1-0. I did have 1-0 Luton, and I've changed it. Norwich versus Middlesbrough. Norwich didn't play Tuesday night, didn't they? They obviously played Saturday. They beat Rotherham by 2-1, and Middlesbrough won 3-0 at Blackpool.
I'm starting to feel a bit better now because when I saw that first Michael Carrick game against Preston, I was a bit worried when I said I thought he'd have a really good start in the manager special. But now it's all starting to look up a bit. He's got attackers scoring. I mean, I talked about it in that manager special. You talked about Isaiah Jones playing so much deeper this year, not getting forward as much. Up there with a goal early doors, strikers scoring, dominating a game, dominating possession, shots. They battered Blackpool on every stat, and they were the better side as well. And I'm going to say it now. I think Middlesbrough have got a chance at the playoffs. I honestly do still with Michael Carrick. I mean, you look at that, Craig, it's only 7 points. It's 7 points in the end of the day. The Championship's like that. I think Michael Carrick is a match made in heaven. I've said it from the start. And this is going to be his first really big test because he's going to a Norwich side who are one of the favourites, who are back in form. They themselves can get within 1 point of the top 2 going into the break after all of the worries about Dean Smith. Do I go classic or both sides stifling each other? Classic. 2-2.
I'm going to go 2-2. Threw me off there. I'm going to go 2-0 to Norwich. Yeah, obviously Middlesbrough absolutely superb. It's Michael Carrick saying, I wish Michael Carrick just held on for a couple more weeks. But no, it's been a great start for him, and fair play to him. Obviously learning a lot about this side. Chuba Akpon's obviously still scoring. Norwich obviously beat Rotherham on Saturday. Great result away from home. Once again, Dean Smith still not playing all right, but they're picking up points now where they weren't in that 4 or 5 game block. So I just think Norwich will just be a bit tad stronger at home, and I'm going to go for Norwich to win by 2-0. Right, Preston versus Millwall. Preston didn't play midweek, but beat Reading by 2-1 last Friday. That's a long time ago now. And Millwall obviously didn't play midweek as well. So they drew 0-0 with Hull.
Yeah, back-to-back 0-0s for Millwall, much the same as Preston were doing earlier in the season regularly. But Preston 3 wins in a row now, all by the odd goal. And this is the problem with Preston. You don't ever feel like they're going to win or lose a game by more than the odd goal. So it's very hard to predict them anything other than a draw most weeks. Millwall, I've been a little disappointed the last few weeks because if they kept that run going against sides in Huddersfield, Birmingham and Hull, you would expect to be down there. If they kept that going, they'd have been right up in the promotion mix. But against Preston, I think they'd be really happy with a point. I don't think they're going to get it though. I'm going 1-0 Preston.
I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2? Surprise of the week.
No, to be fair, Preston's very good form at the moment. Millwall, if a good, the Millwall that's we know are strong, they turn up, they can easily score a couple of goals. But to be fair, Millwall defensively, they obviously kept a couple of clean sheets. That's positive. Negative, obviously, not scoring. So, but on their day, Millwall, they're very strong. So I think they'll go for 2-2. West Brom versus Stoke. West Brom didn't play midweek. At the weekend, they won 1-0, didn't they? At QPR, and Stoke beat Luton 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. For all of our bias about the Luton side of it, it's exactly what Stoke needed. Because I know they got the 1-0 at Wigan where everyone wins, but other than that, they'd been atrocious in recent weeks. And for Alex Neil, it was a little gift on Monday morning, and they took full advantage, as you said. So well done to them. It does make predicting this one a bit harder, though, because Carlos Corberán's come in and done exactly what we said. Make it ugly, make the team defensively solid, protect a pretty average defence, and get yourselves back in contention. A win here for West Brom could mean they're out the relegation zone when the World Cup comes around, which psychologically can be quite a big thing. Do I go for them to win 1-0 again? Because Stoke, they're so inconsistent. They've not been great recently. 1-1, I'm going to sit on the fence.
Yeah, great result for West Brom's sake. They needed the victory. And Corberán's obviously, you said that's what you had to do. Stoke, yeah, they won the game Monday and scored 2 goals early on and shut up shop after that. They didn't need to do anything else because the game was done. So it was easy enough for them. And obviously good to see Harry Souttar back as well. He's been out for a long time. Yeah, Stoke needed that victory and they've got it. So handed some on the plate. Southampton did. But I'm going to go with West Brom to win by 1-0 again. Right, 2 more. Wigan versus Blackpool and Lancashire derby up there. Wigan, they lost 2-0 to Coventry and Blackpool lost 3-0 to Borough.
What do you go for here? I mean, Blackpool have lost 3 in a row, not scored a goal. Wigan have been, bar 60-odd minutes against Swansea, diabolical for weeks and weeks now. Blackpool, if they lose this and West Brom get the win you predict, will be in the relegation zone come the World Cup for all the positives at the start and for all the high-scoring games early on. Oh, this is an impossible game. Wigan just don't win at home. But if they're ever going to win one, it's this, isn't it? I'm going 1-0 Wigan. Screw it. The run's got to end eventually. And I haven't predicted enough 1-0. So 1-0 for the home side.
You haven't predicted enough 1-0. You predicted 3 now. I'm going to go 1-0. The best away victory in football, 1-0 to Blackpool. Yeah, both of these two teams are not in good form anyway. But I see Blackpool actually scoring a goal ahead of Wigan. Simple as 1-0 Blackpool. And the final game is Burnley versus Blackburn, another Lancashire derby, a proper Lancashire derby. Burnley lost 5-2 away at Sheffield United and Blackburn 1-1 against Huddersfield.
Yeah, and Burnley obviously struggled to a win against Crawley in the Cup in midweek as well, but it was important for them to get back to winning ways in the end. Blackburn won 1-0 again, and you look at those 3 of the 4 last games they've won, they've all been by the odd goal. They're efficient, they're doing their job. It's a battle of the top 2, the winner's top spot when we go into the international break. I mean, it's a big derby. Blackburn haven't drawn a game all season. Burnley have barely lost one. I really don't know what to go for here. Part of me thinks Vincent Kompany's going to have Burnley really up for the derby, and part of me thinks Blackburn are going to nick it on the counter because we saw what Sheffield United did last week, and Blackburn are more than capable of doing that. They will have watched the tapes and surely tried to implement it. I'm going for a big surprise. I'm going for Blackburn to win, and I'm going to go for Blackburn to win comfortably, 3-1.
Blackburn to win. No. I'm going to go 2-1 Burnley. I think Burnley can nick this one. They'll learn the lessons from last Saturday. Set piece wise, Blackburn are quite strong, quite physical, so they have to learn from that. But being at Turf Moor will be ideal for them. I think Burnley will nick it late on, 2-1. And let's have a quick recap what we just predicted for match day 21. And Luton are not winning, according to us, managerless. It's a shame. Other than that, score-wise, a couple of one. Danny Coe's got a couple of 1-0s, about 3 1-0s actually. A 2-2 for him, and Blackburn to win by 3-1. I've only gone for Watford to score more than 2, and that's away at Bristol City. And those are predictions, the final predictions before the World Cup break in the Championship. Give us your predictions down in the comments section. Do you agree with us or disagree with us? Let us know. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the Honest Football Podcast, and you can follow us on Twitter at Honest Football Free. And we'll see you in the return.